Hey everyone, welcome back to Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics. We're in a mud pit with cows working on this skid loader. Crank no start. Diesel engine, Kubota. History is this thing ran, I guess they did an engine swap, and then it ran once, they parked it, and they couldn't get it started again. So called up the local farm technician, that's me, and see if we can figure this thing out. First thing I want to do is check the glow plugs, and just a simple feed. There's a rail, 4 glow plugs, and right here I have an ammeter hooked up and also a test light. So it's going to draw 4 amps if they work. Just want to check the relay and the feed. And this key here has several positions. The left is spring loaded to turn the glow plugs on. A little light comes on, you let it go, and then you crank it. So when I turn the key left, so the relay definitely works. We have a nice bright light. Then what I'm going to do is set you guys up to look at the ammeter, and we should see, well, I don't know how many amps these plugs should draw, but we'll see the amperage of the test light and of the glow plugs. Or we can just disconnect. We'll disconnect the test light so that doesn't come on, and that current should be the current for the glow plugs. And then I'll check the camera, see what that reading is. Ready? On. Off. Alright, you guys saw that. I heard it beep. Probably over 40 amps. I don't know. Let's see. So you guys just saw there in a clip on the ammeter that first we went over 40 amps, and then as the glow plugs heated up, we dropped to like 35. So 10 amps per glow plug. Not worried about the glow plugs. The fuel shutoff plunger relay. That's the next thing that would cause this engine not to run. This guy right here. So there's a plug right here. It's 2 wires. Comes over to here, and it plugs right in. So you see 2 wires. Let's see if I can get there. 2 wires there, but there's 3 wires on the other side. Interesting, right? And in our parts box here, this is the original solenoid that came out of the old engine. That's a 3-wire unit. Now the way these work, as we saw on an earlier video on a Massey Ferguson, the 3 wires are what? There is a pull-in coil and then a hold-in coil. So I assume that's going to be our issue here, that this pump, that plunger, there's only 1 coil in here. It needs to be energized all the time. Now, if this thing only pulls it in then lets it go, it's not going to work. So let's unplug it. I guess we can just unplug it right here so we don't have to mess with the pump itself. Bingo. So there's 2 pins. There's 2 pins there. So let's put a test light across those 2 pins and see what happens when we try to crank this thing. So one more thing before we do any testing. The middle wire on this plug for the fuel solenoid, it goes directly to that relay, which also controls the glow plugs. So I have the test light connected back to the glow plug rail. So let's see when that fuel solenoid kicks on. So when we go like this, that's just the glow plug setting. Now when we go to crank it, let's see what happens. So on, crank. So that is our pull-in coil, and once the thing starts, then the hold-in coil should energize. But we don't have the hold-in coil on the new solenoid. So I'm curious now if the thing would start and then stall, or if it wouldn't start at all. I guess you have to be sitting on here to make it crank. Let's figure out a way to test this. All right, let's see if we can make this thing crank. And to crank it, you need to be sitting in it.
You gotta pull that bar down.
Oh, okay. The bar. So let's see here. So glow plugs. See our test light come on. That's good. Now crank it. So that circuit's energized. However, our fuel solenoid is probably not doing anything. So if we look at the original fuel solenoid here, they're actually labeled hold, pull, and COM. Let's see, where's that label? Right there. That's the common ground. You would assume that's the big black wire. So on this new solenoid, if you just plug it in, all we have is pull and hold. There's no return unless it's grounded through, you know, the solenoid itself. So what I want to do is actually put a current meter on these wires and see on the scope if the solenoid is, you know, engaging. The owner said, you know, he had someone turn the key and, like, you know, he tried starting it and he didn't feel a click in here. So I assume that's going to be our issue. However, let's you know, let's see if that's the way it's supposed to be. So basically I want to see if there's current going into this wire right here, which is our middle wire, which is the pull wire. And if there is, you know, the thing should engage. Alright, so we have our ammeter around the red wire that comes from that common solenoid into the pull circuit of the fuel relay. So I'm going to cheat and take a clip. So I'm just going to turn it to I guess we'll just turn it to the glow plug setting, see if it clicks on. And now we can crank it. Let's review the footage. Oh man, it dropped out of the way. Damn. Alright, so reviewing the video footage, I saw no current going to that solenoid, so I guess that would make sense. It's inactive. Now, simple check. Just a regular ohm meter. Here's a pigtail that goes to that fuel solenoid. Just 2 pins. First, let's measure the resistance across the 2 pins. And there's nothing there. Now let's measure from the center pin to a known good ground. I don't see anything there. And from the side pin to a known good ground. I got something there. About 15 ohms. Okay? So that guy, the side pin, is our, which one? That's the hold, right? If you look at this guy. See the side pin, it says hold the red wire. So the hold works. However, the pull-in looks like it's open. So that's a problem. The pull inside of this coil is open circuit. Now, you know, this engine is brand new and this thing should be new. Now the question is there a current limiting device on there that should prevent it from burning out? Because the owner said this thing like was buzzing at first when it actually worked, and now it doesn't buzz anymore, and then obviously it doesn't work. So, you know, where do we go from here? Obviously the plunger is bad, but we have to make sure that the replacement one doesn't burn out. So we have to do a little more research on this pull in and hold in coil. When does the pull in engage? Is that proper? And the hold in, you know, if that's also works as it should. So I think, you know, we're almost done. So a quick test, since we have this plunger sitting around, the original 3-wire, let's actually see if this one works as it should. So when I turn on the glow plugs, it should, you know, pop in and then come back out, and when I crank it, it should pop in and stay in and then pop back out. So let's see if that works as designed. Glow plug. Now cranking. Let's review the footage. Alright, so you saw the video footage. The 3-wire solenoid worked beautifully. It stayed in after the crank and the key was still on. Turn the key off, it like shot back out as it should. Now I'm wondering if we can put that guy in here, even though this is a slightly different design. I'm wondering if the spacing between the bolts is the same, and we got to take this one out anyways. And I mean, if this one can pop in there, that would be fantastic. We would just, you know, extend the wires and away it goes. So let's get this guy out and see what it looks like. Alright, let's pop this guy out. One screw. And that is a different bolt, so okay. Let's 8 millimeter plus an adapter. And that plunger came with this engine, and they used different size bolts. I don't know, what kind of a new engine is this? Don't want to drop that just yet. Sweet. Get this guy out of here. Ooh. So there's what the new one looks like. So new, or before and after, and these bolt holes don't look the same. That's a shame. I mean, we can push that guy in. Well, actually, let's just run it, and then once it starts, I'll be able to push in the plunger and shut it off manually, and that'll kind of prove the concept that this thing is definitely bad. Actually, I'm kind of cautious to do that experiment because that thing looks like there's oil in there, so my oil might start squirting out, and then there's a fan and like belts and stuff. So reaching in here with your hand and holding that in might not be the best idea. Let's think safety. Well, let's give it a shot anyways. Feeling brave, maybe a little stupid, but gotta prove the concept. So, glow plugs. Start. Now, press on the seat. Knob. scary. But it works. So we need a new one of these. And that's it. End of the diagnosis. Didn't get my fingers cut off. Made some blue smoke. Got the XL7 full of diesel fumes. And that's it. Thanks all for watching. See you guys next time. Bye bye. So just because I'm never satisfied and curiosity got the best of me, I got the solenoid, took the wires off. We're just gonna bench test it right here using our test light. So check this out. We'll get the camera set up properly. So this black wire is coming from a positive source. We find the ground, the test lights light up. Now the solenoid. Let's ground it on this bracket and just touch the one pin with a test light. Like so. I push in the plunger and it stays in until I let go, and then it comes out. Let's see if we can demonstrate that a little better. Stays in, comes out. That's the holding coil. Now the pulling coil, it'll actually light my test light really brightly, and then when I push it in with my finger, let's try again. Oh, come on. So the pulling coil works, or I'm sorry, the holding coil works, but the pull-in, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. See right now? Nothing. But a couple times it lit up the test light, so there's a lot of current, or 4 amps going through this. It probably needs like 10 to actually activate. And it was kind of buzzing. So, you know, this thing internally, it's intermittent. So we still need a new one of these, but just to demonstrate, you know, what each section does. And now it's dead, and the hold in works just fine. Boom. Interesting. Just a little bonus footage.